have found the Genesis frequency. This is Dr. Stephen J. Kazmina welcoming you in to another episode of a show that focuses on your whole life prosperity and success. Whole life prosperity and success by cooperating with the universal laws that are available to each and every one of us. This is Quantum Leap Goal Achievement, radical personal transformation, whole life prosperity and success. Now, stay tuned for another exciting episode that'll move the needle in your life from where you are now to where you want to be.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. This is Dr. Cause and Effect, Dr. Stephen J. Kazmina coming at you with another episode of the Genesis Frequency Podcast, a show all about leadership development, personal development, professional development, executive development, and just overcoming in life, winning, overcoming challenges, rising, stepping into our infinite potential, sharing with you, well, methods, principles, ideas, thought, wisdom that has worked for me in my life to overcome. And, that's my message, that's my purpose, and I am dedicated to this. Absolutely dedicated this, having walked right up to death's door and deciding not to go through that at that time. So another story, it's in there somewhere. This is the 8th year of the Genesis Frequency Podcast. So thanks to you, my listeners, those that are coming back again and again and again and again, and those of you who are here for the first time, maybe you pop in every once in a while. It doesn't matter. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the show. I appreciate you more than you know, and I hope you find value in it. And I just want to caution, as I do in most of my episodes, that, most people place little or no value on that which you get for free. And you're getting all this information for free. And people tell me, yeah, you're doing too much coaching, you're giving away too much for free. And they're right. People place little or no value on it because, hey, it's free. I go here and I get a lot of good stuff. Yep, you do get a lot of good stuff here, but it's about the application and action you take on it in your own life. I'm always about what is it? How does it work? What will it do for you in your life and in your experience? You got to apply, you got to take action. And just because you're getting it for free doesn't mean it's not extremely valuable. You don't pay for this. I don't bombard you with a bunch of guests trying to sell stuff, and I don't sell stuff myself either, other than offer you an invitation at the end to have a conversation with me to see if you want to go deeper and further and really have an accountability partner with you on your path to achieve whatever it is you want to achieve in life. Because I'm all about goal achievement, quantum leap goal achievement, meaning that, hey, let's make some big strides toward the life we would love to live and radical personal and professional transformation for you and for your company, stepping into that culture that will attract the corporate goals, the personal goals, the professional goals. So that's what it's all about. If you're newer, today I want to take a dive in quickly because time goes by very, very fast in this show. And we're going to talk about your story and how you are not your story. And this is so true. You are not your story. The moment you stop living from the past and choose a bigger life. So our stories happened, right? And we move through different episodes of our story in our lifetime. And my story has been very, very valuable to me because it was I guess you could say, the emotional and the emotional impact I needed to really move into a transformative lifestyle, to really make the transformation necessary for me to quantum leap into the life I'm living now. And it was really scary, but I chose not to live in that story, to extract the wisdom gained and look at it for the contrast it provided me to really observe what I didn't want and what I did want. So let's dive into that today because there comes a moment in every person's life, sometimes quietly, sometimes through pain, which I was just alluding to. Sometimes, there's something when something inside of all of us, that point, that moment begins to whisper. And that whisper might sound something like this: there has to be more than this. There has to be more than this. More than repeating the same patterns over and over. More than reacting from old wounds. More than carrying memories that no longer serve who we are becoming, who we desire to become, what we desire to grow into, to express, to attract, to become more of. And often, what keeps us from that more, can you see my fingers doing the quote? What keeps us from that more isn't our circumstances. Everybody points to that. Well, yeah, but I got this going on. Oh, I got that. Or I don't have any of this. Just rooted and grounded in limitation, thinking that it's the circumstances that are keeping it stuck. But it's not our circumstances. It's our story, not the facts of what happened, but the meaning we attach to them. Think about that. Not the facts of what happened, but the meaning we attach to them. At some point in life, usually without realizing it, we begin living from the past instead of from our potential. There's a big difference. We tell ourselves stories. We do it all the time. This is just how I am. I've always been like this. Or that experience changed me forever. Now, that can be a true statement in a very positive, growth filled way, right? Or how about, I tried before and it didn't work? Or people like me, don't get ahead. My family never did. Nobody in my family ever did. Nobody in my neighborhood ever got ahead. You know, I don't expect me to ever get ahead. This is just how it is. This is my lot in life. This is the cards I've been dealt with. Or I missed my moment. I hear a lot of people getting up there and I missed my moment. Time's passed me by. Too late now. But man, oh man, before long, the story becomes familiar. It becomes comfortable. It becomes predictable, but not true. Get that? Not true. Let me say this clearly and gently. You are not your story. You are the awareness telling the story. And anything you can observe, you are not. Got that? You are the awareness telling the story. And anything you can observe, you are not. Your past may explain you, yeah, but it does not define you. It doesn't have to define you. It doesn't define you. Your experiences may inform you, but they do not limit you. And the moment you realize this, everything begins to change. Everything. Most people don't realize they're living from an old script. And I talk about this a lot. I talk about it in the context of talking about paradigms and a multitude, which are a multitude of habits that have almost exclusive control over our habitual behavior. But I'm talking about right now living from that old script. And most people that don't realize they're unconscious of this fact. They wake up, they move through the day, they make decisions, they react emotionally, all through a lens that was written years ago. A story formed from disappointment, story formed from loss, story formed from lack, from moments when things didn't go as hoped. They're rooted and grounded in that. And slowly, subtly, that story becomes identity. Identity was never meant to be fixed. That's why I do what I do. I didn't have to stay trapped. You do not have to stay trapped. Life itself is expansive. And yet, many people are trying to build an abundant future while thinking from a limited past. That's crazy. That's like trying to drive forward while staring only in the rearview mirror. Your gaze is just fixed there. You cannot move into a new life with an old narrative. That's just no, you can want it all you want, but you're not going to make that movement into a new life. You're not going to become what it is you truly desire to become and to experience the be, do, and have, right? We're talking about being here. Where are you? You can't move into a new life with the old narrative. At some point, the story must be released, not denied, not judged, but outgrown. And this is true for you, whether you're working on something for you personally, aren't we all? If you're listening to this show, it's a pretty good guess that you probably are. How about professionally? How about as an organization, as a company, as a nonprofit, as a municipality, as a manufacturer? It doesn't matter what line of work you're involved in for a vocation. Maybe your company, maybe you want to, this can be related to culture within a company. Because culture is really group paradigm or a group story. We've always done it like that. That's who we are. This is the way we've always been. This is where this is our method, our operated, method of operation here. Modus operandi, right? It's that old thought, that old story. This is what we're all about. And that culture, that think could really be leading you backwards to shrinking, to dissolving, to eventually disappearing. So make no mistake, this is for you personally and professionally. This is about becoming. So remember that, personally or professionally, in a company or as an individual, you cannot move into a new life, new experience, new culture with an old narrative. You have to release the old story, outgrow it. I have this quote up on my board right in front of me. It's been there for a long time, and it will remain there as a great reminder. And I share this with you now. It's from Napoleon Hill, author of Think and Grow Rich. And he says, no more effort is required to aim high in life, to demand abundance and prosperity, than is required to accept misery and poverty. And I want you to just think about that for a moment. Just think about it. No more effort. So it's not like, man, I got to really buckle down and just put my nose to the grindstone. A lot of hard work here. No, it takes the same energy to believe in limitation as it does to believe in possibility. The difference is not effort. The difference is choice. Most people never consciously choose their story. They inherit it. They inherit it from family, from culture, from past failure, from mistakes, from someone else's expectations. And guess what? And then they defend it, almost wearing it like a badge of honor. Even when it hurts, they defend it. You know why? Because familiarity feels safer than expansion. So it's not more effort. It's just that, this is my comfort zone. Familiarity feels safer than expanding. I don't want to step out. I love that quote. Everything we want is in the cave we fear to enter, right? Familiarity feels safer than expansion. But comfort is not growth. I have another one up here I didn't share from T. Harv Eker. Comfort kills. We'll share that another time. I don't want this to get away from me today. So remember that. For right now, comfort is not growth, and safety is not fulfillment. Here's a powerful truth for you if you take nothing else away. The story that got you here, right to this moment of right here, right now, cannot take you where you want to go. The version of you who survived is not the version of you meant to thrive. Got that? The version of you who survived. Yeah, I got one hell of a story. I survived. But that's not the version of you meant to thrive. There might be elements of that. There might be wisdom gained through that experience. There's nothing wrong with honoring your past, but living from it is another matter entirely. Because the moment you keep saying, this is who I am because of what happened to me, this is who I am because of what our company went through. As soon as we do that, this is who I am because of, then you give the past authority over the present. And the past has no creative power. Only the present does. This present eternal moment of right here, right now. You see, your life is not shaped primarily by what happened to you. It is shaped by what you continue to believe about what happened. Two people can go through the same event. One becomes bitter, the other becomes wiser. Same event, different meaning. I like to say meaning is the architect of destiny, and meaning can be changed at any moment. Right now, Wayne Dyer used to say nothing has any meaning except the meaning that we give to it. Think about that one. Let that be something you sit and reflect on. Meaning can be changed. You can do it right here, right now. And here's something rarely said but deeply freeing. You don't need to heal every memory before you move forward. People wait to get ready and they get ready and they get ready to get ready to get ready to get ready to get ready. You don't need to heal every memory before you move forward. You don't need to analyze every single wound. You don't need to relive the past to transcend it. You simply need to stop letting it speak for you. You don't need to erase the story. That's not going to happen. Doesn't have to be erased. You just need to stop reading from it. Stop reading from that script because your future is not asking for your history. It's asking for your vision. So I talk so much about vision. That's how you hear me get excited and filled with enthusiasm within these podcasts, sitting here sharing with you, me in the microphone and you out there. Your future is not asking for your history. Where were you? Oh, it's asking for your vision. Where do you want to go? What's the dream? What's the vision? You can be, do, and have it all. Absolutely. There comes a moment when your soul says, I'm ready for a bigger story. And hopefully that's you right here, right now. I am ready for a bigger story. And not necessarily louder, not more impressive. Maybe you get to decide, but truer, a truer story, a story rooted in worth instead of wounds, which are what perhaps somebody else or situation or circumstance or an event you allowed to define you. You want something truer, not rooted in wounds, rooted in possibility instead of protection, in becoming instead of coping. A bigger story says, I am not behind. I am not broken. I am not late. I am not limited. It says, I am unfolding. And you know what? Unfolding doesn't require explanation, only allowance. I am unfolding. How does that feel? See, we can affirm that without the monkey chatter mind arguing with us. Affirm that every day. I am unfolding. I am evolving into my greater good. The most powerful shift you can make is this: stop asking, why did this happen to me? And begin asking, who am I choosing to be now? Because identity is not discovered, it is decided every day through thought, through belief, through expectation. Your inner narrative is shaping your outer experience constantly. Not because life is punishing you, but because life responds to the image you hold of yourself. When you change that image, the experience must follow. That's why you often hear me talk about self image, and we can never get past the self image we hold of ourselves. We have to recreate a new one. So let me offer you something practical before we wrap up here, something real you can begin with right now, today, in this moment. When an old story surfaces, and it will, don't fight it. Just notice it. And then say gently within yourself, that was then, this is now. And I am choosing again. Then ask one powerful question. If I were not limited by my past, what would I allow myself to want? Not what seems realistic, not what others approve of. What would you allow yourself to want? Desire is not random, it's guidance. Those inner desires are there for a reason, for a greater purpose. Trust me, it's guidance. And the soul doesn't desire what it cannot express. It's already yours in its incipiency. You are not here to repeat history. You are here to evolve consciousness. You are here to express more life, more wisdom, more love in your own unique way. The past may have shaped your early chapters, but you are the author of what comes next. And today, right now, you can begin writing from a higher place, a clearer place, a freer place. Because the truth is this: you were never meant to live small. You were never meant to carry old pain forever. You were never meant to define yourself by moments that have already passed. Your essence is expansive. Your potential is alive. And your next chapter is not waiting on time. It's waiting on permission. Permission to release the old story, permission to choose a bigger one, permission to live from who you are becoming, not who you once had to be. And the moment you choose that, life begins to meet you there. So if this message resonated with you here right now, sit with it today. Spend some time with it. Come back and listen again. Let it settle. And remember, you are not your story. You are the consciousness capable of writing a new one. And that story can begin right here, right now. And I invite you to do just that. Let it begin now. Sit with this a little bit, then reach out to me at successappointment.com. That's my calendar. It'll open up in your time zone. It's not a sales page. Again, it's just my calendar. Pick an appointment time. Let's have a conversation about all of this. What's next? Your new story, your new image for you, or your new culture for your company. I do this work with individuals and with companies, organizations, nonprofits. Reach out. Let's have a conversation. Let's just talk about it. See where you are, what you want to create, and let's move on from there. Book some time with me right now. That's going to do it. We're out of time for today. You've been listening to the Genesis Frequency Podcast, and this is Dr. Cause and Effect, Dr. Stephen J. Kosmina, wishing you an infinitely spectacular day. God bless you.